This is a CBS News special report. I'm Gayle King here in New York. Now, we're coming on the air right now because Hunter Biden, President Biden's son, has just pleaded not guilty to federal charges that he lied about being a drug user on an application to buy a gun. He arrived at a federal courthouse in Wilmington, Delaware earlier today. Now, Biden had made a tentative plea agreement with the Justice Department on those gun-related charges, misdemeanor tax evasion charges. But as you may recall, that deal fell apart at the very last minute. Senior investigative correspondent, that's Catherine Herridge, is outside the courthouse in Wilmington, Delaware, where Hunter Biden was just arraigned. Catherine, can you tell us what exactly happened today?
Well, Gayle, good to be with you. This was an extraordinary scene that unfolded in the courthouse behind me. The son of a sitting president facing felony gun charges. As Hunter Biden entered the courtroom on the second floor, he passed by me. I was no more than about 5 feet away. And there was a sense of nervous energy, a nervous smile, a sense of real apprehension as we headed into the proceeding. It lasted about 20 minutes. The federal judge asked the president's son if he understood the charges, the potential serious penalties, and that he had a right to remain silent. And to each he responded with a strong and soft voice, "Yes, Your Honor." And when it came time to enter the plea, that was done by his attorney, Abby Laurel, who said Mr. Biden pleads not guilty to the 3 charges. Gayle, the next date on the calendar is early November, and we're already getting a sense of the defense team's strategy. They indicated to the court that they will file a motion to dismiss, and they are going to question whether one of the charges is constitutional, a charge that would ban a drug user from owning and obtaining a weapon in the United States. What's striking to me is that just 2 months ago, Hunter Biden entered this courthouse with a degree of optimism and a lot of confidence. But as we saw that plea deal collapse and I was inside that courtroom, what we see now is that the chapter is not closing for Hunter Biden or for his family or for his father, the president, Gayle.
Yeah, it's clear he did not expect to be here today, but here we are. We know that today's arraignment focused on those gun-related charges. Catherine, do you think it's possible that he could still face the tax charges too?
Well, based on the court filings from special counsel David Weiss, there is an ongoing investigation, and he's indicated that he could bring tax charges in one of 2 venues, California, where Hunter Biden is living, or in Washington, D.C. That would require the presentation of evidence to grand juries in one or both of those districts. So we're not clear on the timeline, but the special counsel has made clear that that's a real possibility. And during the last hearing in July, when the plea deal fell apart, they also indicated that they were exploring potential violations of foreign lobbying laws, Gayle.
All right, Catherine, thank you very much. I know we'll have more later today. Senior White House correspondent Weijia Zhang joins us now. Weijia, there's a lot going on for the Biden family because today's proceedings come during this impeachment inquiry into the president's alleged involvement in his son's international business dealings. That's a lot. I know it just happened, but is there any comment from the White House yet?
Gayle, there isn't, and we do not expect that the White House is going to touch this, and neither will President Biden. And even though you're right, there is this ongoing impeachment inquiry into President Biden, today's proceedings have absolutely nothing to do with that because they are solely focused on gun charges relating to Hunter Biden. There is, however, an ongoing special counsel investigation into Hunter Biden's business dealings, and those taxes will likely be part of that conversation. And that is one reason why, Gayle, that the president, the White House, wants to continue to maintain this distance between the Department of Justice, which insists the White House has nothing to do with any of its investigations. Because, of course, Gayle, as we have been covering, parallel to all of this are a host of investigations and indictments into the former president, Donald Trump. And President Biden does not want anyone to even speculate there might be any political motivation for that, which is why he will not talk about his son's proceedings either. But suffice it to say, Gayle, you're right. There's a lot going on here. And the White House, when they did talk about this yesterday, today's proceedings said that this is a personal matter and wouldn't have more to say. Gayle.
All right. We are all paying attention on this. Thank you, Weijia. Thank you very much. Our coverage will continue on CBS News Streaming, your local news, and on the evening news with Norah O'Donnell. This has been a CBS News Special Report. I'm Gayle King here in New York.